Hello and welcome to xfactor.ballsports.com. And joining me this week, she's back from her holidays. We had Lee on last week, but finally we've got the real expert. We've got Nicola McGeady back in the hot seat. Nicola, how are you?
Good. I don't think Leo will be too happy with that. He was very proud of his analysis last week. But anyway, you speak true words.
He was indeed. Nicola, I suppose we're all shocked last Sunday. All judges had to vote off one of their acts. Yeah. Were you a bit surprised by all four, or would you agree with all four?
Yeah, it was a very harsh twist, you have to say. I think I would have rathered the public vote out the likes of Johnny Robinson and Kitty. But we had to say goodbye to Amelia. That was probably the only one I was sad to see go.
With that, yeah.
Kelly had a tough job picking one of her girls to go because they all were fantastic. I thought Amelia oozed a lot of pop star quality, and she seemed like she would grow throughout the competition. But someone had to go. So I'm not going to cry over it.
Just looking at the betting, Nicola, has that affected the outright betting? Who's still favoured? Do we still have our Irish girls favoured?
Well, Amelia was actually the second favourite. So, you know, it's a shock to have one of the favourites leave so early. Janet is still the favourite, riding high at the top of the betting at 11-4. Yeah, she was really good. Probably one of the best performances of the night. But I think the whole vulnerable persona she's putting across is getting a little bit old, and I don't know if I'm buying it.
Okay.
Second in the betting we have Misha Bryan. She's kind of like a cross between Lady Gaga in terms of her dress sense and then Nicki Minaj in terms of her singing and rapping. I don't know, I don't think she's that original because she does seem to be copying Nicki Minaj.
She has got value?
No, I wouldn't be backing her at 4-1, although she has probably the best voice in the competition. I really fancy the Scouse lad, Craig Colton, at 11-2. He's got the likeability factor and the voice to match, which is always really important. The public tend to vote who they like rather than who's the actual best singer, but he did put on a brilliant performance. Okay,
well, seems to be down to the public this week who's going to go. Looking at the odds, it looks like we could have Talisa losing an act.
New Vibe, 7-4 favourites to go, and they're 4-1 to go. I thought they were terrible last week. The fashion, they looked like they got dressed in the dark. The singing wasn't great, and the rapping, I think they should leave that to Misha. I'm slating them, probably being a bit too harsh. New Vibe, 7-4. I wouldn't be backing them to go. I'd be backing the Rhythmics. I think that represents value at 4-1. Maybe Kitty as well. She's in there at 11-2 if you fancy her. She's not very likeable. She's the new Katie Wazel, I think, of the competition. Yeah. The press are going to go to absolute town on this girl, which is probably a bit mean, considering she hasn't done anything too wrong except be a little bit out there and crazy in her behaviour.
That's great, Nicola. Thank you very much for them tips. We'll see you all next week, folks. And remember, you can follow all the betting news at xfactor.ballsports.com, or you can follow Nicola herself at ballsportsnmg.